Have you ever hesitated to take action because you're afraid of failing? We all know the feeling, whether it's the fear of not living up to expectations, making mistakes in front of others, or simply falling short of our own goals. But what if I told you that failure isn't something to fear, but something to embrace? In today's video, we'll explore lessons from Stoic philosophy that will help you overcome the fear of failure and turn it into a stepping stone for growth. By the end of this video, you'll have practical tools and timeless wisdom to not only face failure, but use it to become stronger and more resilient. Let's dive in. Lesson 1. Embracing failure as a part of the journey. We often see failure as something frightening, a sign that we are not good enough, haven't tried hard enough, or are unworthy. However, from the Stoic perspective, failure is not an enemy, but a valuable teacher. Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus emphasized that failure is not the end, but a natural part of the journey to success. In life, there's no path to success without setbacks. Each failure is not a roadblock, but an opportunity to reflect, learn, and grow. For example, imagine a project at work that did not meet expectations. Instead of seeing it as a failure, you could analyze the issues. Maybe communication was lacking or the timeline was unrealistic, and use that insight to perform better on future projects. This is how failure turns into a tool for personal and professional development. Failure touches our self-esteem and sense of security, making us fear being judged or criticized. We worry that failure shows we are incapable or less competent. This fear can paralyze us, leading to self-doubt and stagnation. Stoicism teaches us to see failure from a different angle. Failure is not a sign of inadequacy. It shows progress. Only by stepping out of your comfort zone and accepting risks can you learn valuable lessons from your mistakes. Fear of failure only exists when we focus too much on results, whereas the real value lies in the effort and perseverance we invest. Failure often teaches us more than success. When we succeed, we may become complacent, believing everything is perfect. But when we fail, we are forced to reflect, assess our mistakes, and find ways to improve. This is when we grow the most and become stronger. In the workplace, think of a time when you made a mistake in handling a task or a client relationship. That failure likely forced you to rethink your approach, and as a result, you might have developed better communication skills or found new ways to manage stress. This process of reflection and improvement is where true growth happens. A key principle of Stoicism is the distinction between what we can control and what we cannot. Often, our fear of failure arises from trying to control external factors beyond our reach. For example, we can control the effort we put into a project, but we cannot control the final outcome or how others will perceive it. Instead of worrying about things outside our control, like whether a project will be successful or how colleagues will respond to your ideas, focus on the quality of your work and your own actions. Letting go of what you can't control reduces anxiety and helps you concentrate on doing your best. One of the biggest fears around failure is that it can make us feel unworthy or incompetent. When we fail, we often internalize the experience, letting it shape our self-perception. However, failure is merely an event. It does not define who you are. How you respond to failure matters more than the failure itself. You could let a missed target or a rejected proposal bring you down, or you could treat it as a chance to improve and try again. Successful people are not defined by never failing, but by how they rise after each stumble and use the experience to grow stronger and wiser. Lesson 2. Focus on what you can control. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is the ability to differentiate between what is within our control and what is not. This principle is essential when it comes to overcoming the fear of failure. Too often we let ourselves become overwhelmed by external factors, things that we have no power over, while neglecting the internal aspects that we can truly influence. The Stoics remind us that peace and resilience come from focusing only on what we can control. At the heart of this lesson is a simple but profound realization. While we cannot dictate outcomes, we have complete control over our effort, preparation, and mindset. Consider any project or goal you've taken on in the past. While you may have worked hard, you couldn't control the external environment, other people's reactions, or unpredictable events. What you could control was the work you put in, the skills you brought to the table, and how you responded to challenges along the way. By fixating on uncontrollable factors, such as the opinions of others or random events, we surrender our peace of mind and amplify our fear of failure. On the other hand, if we focus on what we can control, like being diligent in preparation and maintaining a resilient mindset, we empower ourselves to push forward, regardless of the outcome. Let's look at a practical example. Preparing for a performance review at work. It's natural to feel anxious about how your manager will evaluate you, especially if a promotion or salary increase is on the line. You might find yourself stressing about what they think, how they might judge your work, or whether their opinion of you has been affected by factors outside your control. However, no matter how much you worry, you can't control how they will feel on that particular day, their personal biases, or company politics. What you can control is how you've performed over time, the quality of the work you've produced, and how you present your case during the review. By focusing your energy on preparing well, gathering evidence of your achievements, and approaching the meeting with a calm and focused mindset, you shift your attention away from anxiety over things you can't change and toward aspects where you can make a difference. To apply this concept in daily life, start by identifying where your energy is going. Are you spending your time worrying about things that are out of your hands, like the reactions of others, or potential outcomes you can't influence? If so, it's time to redirect your focus to areas you can control. Here's a simple exercise. Make a list of the things you fear about failure. This could be fears around a work project, a personal goal, or a relationship. Once you've written them down, divide them into 2 categories. Things you can control. This might include your preparation, your communication, your actions, or your attitude. Things you cannot control. This could include other people's opinions, unpredictable changes, or external factors. The key is to let go of what you can't control and focus your energy on the areas where your actions can make a difference. When you shift your mindset this way, you'll not only reduce your fear of failure, but also enhance your ability to perform effectively in any situation. Lesson 3. Reframe failure as feedback. At this point, we've discussed the importance of focusing on what we can control. Now let's move on to the next critical Stoic lesson. Reframing failure as feedback. Failure, often viewed as something to fear and avoid, can actually be one of our greatest teachers when approached with the right mindset. The Stoics believed that failure is not something to be ashamed of, but a powerful tool for self-improvement. In modern society, failure is often seen as something final, a point at which we stop and give up. We fear it because we associate it with judgment, embarrassment, or personal inadequacy. But what if we flipped that perspective? Instead of seeing failure as the end of the road, what if we viewed it as valuable feedback that helps us refine our approach, improve our skills, and ultimately achieve greater success? Stoicism encourages us to embrace this mindset. Instead of letting failure crush our spirit, we can use it as a learning opportunity. In the Stoic view, there is no true failure, only learning. Each setback provides information on what didn't work and insight on how to improve in the future. One of the best real-life examples of this principle is Thomas Edison's journey to invent the light bulb. Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Each failure in his experiments wasn't seen as a defeat, but as valuable information that brought him closer to his goal. Instead of giving up, Edison reframed each unsuccessful attempt as feedback, allowing him to refine his process until he succeeded. This mindset is crucial when overcoming the fear of failure. If you can learn to see each stumble not as a disaster, but as a stepping stone toward improvement, your fear will diminish. Instead of avoiding risks for fear of failure, you'll embrace challenges as opportunities for growth. To apply this in your life, try shifting from a judgment mindset to a curiosity mindset. When something doesn't go the way you planned, instead of criticizing yourself or giving up, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? This simple question turns failure into a tool for growth rather than a source of fear. Let's say you've recently launched a business project that didn't meet your expectations. The immediate reaction might be to feel disappointed, embarrassed, or discouraged. But if you reframe this as an opportunity for feedback, you can start looking for the lessons embedded in that experience. What factors led to the outcome? Were there areas where you could have prepared better? Did external circumstances play a bigger role than anticipated? By breaking down the failure and analyzing it objectively, you can extract valuable lessons that will set you up for success in future attempts. The focus here isn't on blaming yourself or others, but on identifying what didn't work and how you can improve next time. Here's a powerful exercise to help solidify this mindset. Conduct a failure audit of your past challenges. Look back at any significant setbacks or failures in your life and write down what happened. Then, for each failure, identify at least one positive takeaway or lesson you learned from the experience. For example, if you didn't land a job you applied for, maybe you learned that you needed to improve your interview skills or gain additional experience in a specific area. If a personal relationship ended, perhaps you realized the importance of communication or setting clearer boundaries. The goal is to train your brain to see failure not as something to avoid, but as an essential part of growth. This shift in perspective will help you move forward with more resilience and less fear of setbacks. Take a few minutes today to reflect on your past experiences with failure. What lessons did you learn? How can you apply those lessons to your current situation? Once you've identified the insights, make a plan to use them in your next endeavor. Remember, failure is not the opposite of success. It's a crucial part of the journey toward it. Lesson 4. Practice detachment from outcomes. Continuing from the previous lesson on focusing on what's within your control, we arrive at one of the most liberating Stoic principles: detaching from outcomes. In this lesson, we explore how removing emotional investment in results can free you from the fear of failure. The Stoics believed that while we should strive to perform at our best, we must recognize that we don't control the final outcomes. The world is full of variables, many of which are completely beyond our influence. Detachment from outcomes is about focusing on the effort, the process, and what we can control, while letting go of our attachment to success or failure. For instance, in a personal or professional project, you may invest significant time and energy, but factors such as timing, market conditions, or other people's responses remain out of your hands. Detaching from these external outcomes allows you to approach situations with clarity and reduces the pressure to achieve specific results. Let's say you're preparing for a job interview. You've worked hard, researching the company, preparing answers, and practicing your delivery. However, when the interview day comes, there are still factors beyond your control. Maybe the interviewer had a bad day, or perhaps there's an internal candidate that's already favored. In this scenario, detachment means acknowledging that while you can control your preparation, presentation, and attitude, you can't control the final decision. By focusing on what you can control and accepting the uncertainty of the outcome, you reduce stress and avoid disappointment if things don't go as expected. One effective way to practice detachment is to shift your focus from outcomes to the process. Recognize that success is not determined by results, but by how much effort, preparation, and commitment you put in. Instead of stressing over a final decision, focus on being the best version of yourself and doing your job well. Learn to celebrate the effort and progress you make, rather than fixating on whether you get immediate recognition or rewards. Over time, this mindset builds resilience and reduces your reliance on external validation. This mindset shift not only reduces the fear of failure, but also enables you to keep moving forward, regardless of external outcomes. The fear of failure often stems from attaching our self-worth to outcomes. If we fail, we feel like we are failures. But once we detach from the result, we redefine success in terms of our effort and character, not external achievements. This mental shift empowers us to take risks, knowing that the effort itself is a form of success. A great way to integrate detachment into your life is through outcome journaling. Each time you face a task or challenge, write down what you did to prepare, your effort and actions, the desired outcome, what you hope will happen, what's out of your control, factors you can't influence. For example, you might write, "Today I gave a presentation at work. I spent several days preparing and rehearsing. The outcome I want is for my boss to approve the project, but I can't control her reaction or the company's budget decisions." By journaling in this way, you remind yourself to focus on what you can control and mentally let go of what you cannot. Starting today, reflect on a current project or goal in your life. Ask yourself, am I overly focused on the outcome? If so, what aspects are outside of your control? Make a conscious decision to focus on the process and let go of the result. This practice will help you approach tasks with confidence, reduce anxiety, and conquer the fear of failure. Lesson 5. View failure as a teacher. Building upon the principles of detachment, the next step in overcoming the fear of failure is to embrace it as a learning experience. In Stoicism, failure is not seen as something to avoid or fear, but rather as an essential part of personal growth. In this lesson, we'll explore how to shift your mindset so that failure becomes a powerful teacher rather than a source of shame or defeat. The Stoics believed that failure is inevitable. As humans, we are imperfect, and we will face setbacks, mistakes, and challenges along the way. However, the Stoics also emphasized that failure is not the end, but a stepping stone on the path to success. It provides invaluable feedback, revealing areas where we can improve, refine our skills, and grow. When we stop seeing failure as something to fear and start viewing it as feedback, it loses its power to paralyze us. We become more willing to take risks, try new things, and challenge ourselves because we understand that each failure is a lesson in disguise. Let's take the example of a project manager who was leading a high-stakes client project. Despite extensive planning, the project fell behind schedule due to unforeseen challenges, causing dissatisfaction from the client and internal pressure from the team. Initially, the manager viewed the delay as a personal failure, believing it reflected poorly on their leadership. But after taking a step back and analyzing the situation, the manager realized that the team's communication and resource allocation were the main causes of the delay. By using this failure as feedback, the manager implemented new communication tools, restructured team roles, and ensured a better contingency plan for future projects. The project eventually got back on track, and the manager's approach became more effective, turning what was once seen as a failure into a transformative learning experience. For this manager, the failure wasn't the end. It became an opportunity to refine processes, improve team dynamics, and ultimately deliver better results. This mindset is crucial in overcoming the fear of failure in any professional setting. To view failure as a teacher, consider these strategies. Shift your mindset. Start by changing how you define failure. Instead of seeing it as a reflection of your worth or ability, see it as feedback, valuable information that tells you where to focus your improvement efforts. Analyze your failures. Whenever you fail, instead of dwelling on the disappointment, ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? Break down what went wrong, identify the gaps in your preparation, skills, or approach, and use that knowledge to improve in your next attempt. Separate failure from identity. It's crucial to separate failure from your identity. Just because you failed at something doesn't mean you are a failure. It means that your method or approach didn't work, and now you have the opportunity to adjust and try again. Celebrate small wins. Along with learning from failures, don't forget to celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Acknowledging the lessons you've learned and the improvements you've made, even in the face of setbacks, will help you stay motivated and positive. Let's take the example of someone managing a startup business. It's common to face early challenges. Perhaps the product didn't meet customer expectations or marketing efforts fell short. Instead of viewing these setbacks as failures, a Stoic approach would be to analyze what isn't working. Maybe the product development process needs refining, or the marketing strategy wasn't targeting the right audience. By using these failures as feedback, the entrepreneur can pivot, refine their approach, and eventually succeed. Many successful businesses didn't start perfectly. Most had to go through multiple rounds of trial and error to find what worked. Failure was simply part of the journey. To truly embrace failure as a teacher, try the following exercise. Think back to a recent failure you've experienced, big or small. Write it down. Break it down into steps. What happened and where did things go wrong? Now shift your mindset. What did you learn from that experience? How can you apply that lesson moving forward? Lastly, remind yourself that this failure doesn't define you. Instead, it's part of your growth. By taking the time to reflect on and learn from your failures, you will reduce your fear of them and build resilience. Right now, take a moment to think of one recent failure in your life. Reflect on what it taught you. Write down the key lessons and how you can apply them to your future efforts. Remember, every failure is just another step on the path to success. Use it to your advantage and let it be the fuel for your growth. Lesson 6. take action. Despite fear, after learning to view failure as a teacher, the final lesson in overcoming the fear of failure is taking action despite fear. Fear can be paralyzing, preventing us from stepping out of our comfort zone and striving toward our goals. However, Stoicism teaches that action, not avoidance, is the antidote to fear. In this lesson, we'll explore how to push forward even when fear is present and how embracing courage can lead to personal growth and success. Fear is a natural human emotion. It often arises when we face uncertainty, the possibility of failure, or challenges that test our abilities. However, while fear is natural, letting it stop you is a choice. Stoic philosophy encourages us to acknowledge our fear, but not let it control us. Instead of avoiding situations because of the possibility of failure, Stoics believe we should move forward with courage and resilience, regardless of the outcome. One of the key Stoic virtues is courage, the ability to face challenges head-on, even in the presence of fear. The Stoics remind us that most of the things we fear, failure, embarrassment, judgment, are fleeting and often less significant than we imagine. What truly matters is taking action and giving our best effort, regardless of the result. It's important to note that courage doesn't mean the absence of fear. Rather, courage is taking action despite fear. The Stoics would argue that the only way to truly conquer fear is to confront it by acting in the face of it. Imagine you're asked to give a public presentation at work. The thought of standing in front of an audience and potentially making mistakes may fill you with fear and anxiety. A natural response might be to avoid it altogether, finding reasons to decline or procrastinate. However, a Stoic approach would encourage you to embrace the fear and take action anyway. By confronting your fear of public speaking, you are building resilience and showing yourself that you can handle discomfort. Even if the presentation doesn't go perfectly, the experience teaches you valuable lessons that you can apply in future situations. In the end, it's the act of doing, despite fear, that leads to personal growth and confidence. The more you confront what scares you, the more you realize that fear doesn't have to hold you back. The Stoics remind us that progress is far more important than perfection. Fear often arises when we set unattainable standards for ourselves, expecting perfection in every action. This fear of not meeting expectations can keep us from even trying. But in reality, no one is perfect. Every step forward, no matter how small, is progress. By focusing on consistent effort and improvement, rather than perfect outcomes, we can take action more freely, without the weight of fear holding us back. Here are a few practical steps to help you take action in the face of fear. Start small. If fear is overwhelming, start with small, manageable actions. For example, if you fear failure in a major project, break it down into smaller tasks and focus on completing one step at a time. This will help build momentum and reduce the anxiety of the overall challenge. Visualize success. Take a moment to visualize yourself succeeding despite the fear. Imagine how you would feel if things went well, and use that positive image to motivate yourself to take the first step. Reframe fear as excitement. Fear and excitement are closely related emotions. When you feel fear about trying something new, try reframing it as excitement about the opportunity for growth. This simple mindset shift can make a big difference in how you approach challenges. Accept discomfort. Recognize that discomfort is part of the process. Whether it's the fear of failure, judgment, or the unknown, these feelings are natural. The key is to accept that they're part of the journey and keep moving forward. Entrepreneurs often face enormous risks and uncertainties when launching a new business. There's the fear of financial failure, rejection from potential customers, or not being able to deliver on promises. But successful entrepreneurs push past these fears by taking action despite them. They understand that risk is inherent in the process, and rather than avoiding it, they embrace the challenge. They act with the knowledge that failure is possible, but use each setback as a stepping stone toward eventual success. This mindset of taking action despite fear is key to their perseverance and growth. Right now, think of one thing you've been avoiding due to fear. It could be applying for a new job, starting a side project, or having a difficult conversation. Write it down. Then, commit to taking one small step toward confronting. Lesson 7. Embrace the power of reflection. In Stoic philosophy, reflection is a vital practice that allows us to learn from our experiences and grow. The idea is to regularly evaluate our actions, decisions, and their outcomes to gain insights and improve. This practice helps us turn setbacks into valuable lessons and avoid making the same mistakes repeatedly. By reflecting on our experiences, we can better understand our strengths and weaknesses, refine our strategies, and develop greater resilience. Consider a situation where you worked on a project that didn't meet expectations. Instead of letting disappointment take over, use reflection as a tool for growth. After the project concludes, set aside time to analyze what went wrong and what went right. For instance, if a marketing campaign failed to generate the anticipated results, reflect on the process. Did you fully understand the target audience? Was the messaging clear and compelling? Did you face any unforeseen challenges? By evaluating these aspects, you can identify areas for improvement and make more informed decisions in future projects. Schedule regular reflection time. Allocate specific times during the week for reflection. This could be at the end of each workday or week. Use this time to review your recent activities, assess your performance, and identify what you've learned from each experience. Ask key questions. During your reflection sessions, ask yourself questions like, what were my goals for this task or project, and did I achieve them? What obstacles did I encounter, and how did I handle them? What strategies worked well, and which ones need adjustment? How can I apply these insights to future challenges? Document your insights. Keep a journal or digital document where you record your reflections. Note down the key takeaways and any action plans for improvement. This practice not only helps you track your progress, but also provides a reference for future reflection. In addition to self-reflection, consider seeking feedback from colleagues or mentors. They can provide different perspectives on your performance and offer constructive advice that you might not have considered. Use the insights gained from reflection to make tangible improvements. For example, if you find that poor communication was a factor in a project's failure, focus on enhancing your communication skills and strategies for future projects. Start incorporating reflection into your routine today. After each project or significant event, take time to review what worked, what didn't, and what you've learned. Document your reflections and share your experiences in the comments below. How has reflecting on your experiences helped you grow? Let us know your thoughts and any additional tips you have for effective reflection. Lesson 8. Cultivate patience and perseverance. Patience and perseverance are fundamental virtues in Stoic philosophy, especially when facing failure. Stoicism teaches us that success is not always immediate and that enduring effort is crucial for long-term achievements. Cultivating patience helps us accept that some outcomes are beyond our control, while perseverance empowers us to continue striving towards our goals despite setbacks. Together, these qualities allow us to maintain focus and resilience in the face of difficulties. Imagine you're working on a long-term project with ambitious goals, such as developing a new product. Early on, you encounter technical challenges, and the project's progress is slower than anticipated. Instead of becoming frustrated or giving up, practicing patience and perseverance can help you navigate these challenges effectively. For example, by remaining patient, you allow yourself the time to thoroughly understand the issues and explore solutions without rushing. Perseverance ensures that you keep pushing forward, learning from each setback, and adapting your strategies until you achieve success. Set realistic expectations. Understand that significant achievements often require time and sustained effort. Break your larger goals into smaller, manageable milestones and set realistic deadlines. This approach helps you stay focused and motivated without feeling overwhelmed. Develop a growth mindset. Embrace the idea that failure and setbacks are opportunities for growth rather than obstacles. View each challenge as a chance to learn and improve. This mindset helps you stay resilient and maintain a positive attitude even when progress is slow. Practice mindfulness. Incorporate mindfulness techniques into your daily routine to help manage stress and maintain patience. Techniques such as deep breathing, meditation, or mindful walking can help you stay grounded and focused on the present moment. Celebrate small wins. Acknowledge and celebrate small achievements along the way. Recognizing these incremental successes can boost your motivation and remind you of the progress you're making, even if the final goal seems distant. Build a support network. Surround yourself with supportive colleagues, mentors, or friends who encourage your perseverance and patience. Their encouragement can provide motivation during challenging times and offer valuable advice based on their own experiences. Reflect on past successes. Remind yourself of previous situations where patience and perseverance led to success. Reflecting on these experiences can reinforce your belief in your ability to overcome current challenges. Start applying patience and perseverance to your daily challenges. Reflect on a current project or goal where you need to cultivate these qualities. How can you break it down into smaller steps and celebrate your progress? Share your experiences in the comments below. What strategies have you used to stay patient and motivated? Let's support each other on this journey of growth and success. Remember, it's not about avoiding failure, but about using it to become stronger, wiser, and more resilient. The key is to take the first step. If you found these Stoic lessons helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments how you plan to face your fears and turn failure into growth. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.